Welcome to Modern Homestead Alaska. I am Jessica, and today on the homestead, I am so excited to share a day in my life that is everything from chores to feeding the animals. We are going to do some fantastic baking as well as cooking, making some dinner. I'm also going to share with you an incredible project that I have been putting off since Christmas. And above all, I'd like to share a deep conversation with you while we water some of these beautiful tomato plants. Won't you join me for all of that and more on a homestead adventure? Let's go. Help me understand this. How is it that we can go to the store one week and our family will eat whatever fruit we buy within the day? And then you go back and get the fruit and it turns out looking like this. How come no one's ate these bananas? Our family loves bananas. Well, my solution today is going to be, I am going to make some banana bread, and I am going to use my wartime cookbook that has the beautiful rations, and they used to buy food with you were only allowed so much flour and sugar and oil and these basic staples, and this book tells you how to use those different things. But I really love it, but it has a super simple banana bread recipe in here. And what we're gonna add to it is these are some of those dry bananas. So they're like a dry fruit as far as like raisins and apricots and all of those things go when you eat the dry fruit. And then these are banana chips. We're gonna put some of these on the top and make it crunchy. These my family did not like. I'm down to this last jar. I had a massive box of them. And the main area and way that we've used them is banana bread, banana cookies, oatmeals, like a banana cream oatmeal, those sort of things. Anything I can add banana flavor to, but not like take the piece of fruit out and eat it. So we're gonna add those things in the recipe. Let's make some banana bread. So we have our recipe here, and we are gonna start with 1 3/4 cup of flour. And then I'm gonna add the baking powder, which is 1 1/4 teaspoons. 1 1/4 baking powder. We're also gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and about 3/4 teaspoon of salt. So those are our dry ingredients, and now we're gonna do the wet ingredients, including the sugar. So for the sugar, we jump down here and we have 2/3 cup of sugar already. And it says shortening, but I have some oil. We're gonna add 1/3 cup of vegetable or avocado or just an unflavored oil to the sugar, as well 2 eggs. And then we're gonna whisk this together. And then we are going to mash the bananas into this. So it calls for 2 to 3 bananas. Some of these are kind of small. I have 5 though. I'm just gonna put them all in there. Okay, smash all that together. And I think as what is it is, I'm gonna add about 1/4 cup more flour. And that should just help kind of make sure it's all thickened up. So here's our wet. We're gonna add our wet to our dry, and the bananas are so soft, they'll just continue to smash. Now I'm gonna add some of these bananas in. I'm just gonna get a chopping knife out and then kind of like piece these up. They'll absorb some of the liquid and the moisture, and they just become a little bit softer during the cooking process, and you're not getting like a big bite, but they are super banana flavored because they're condensed down, of course. So they do work well in this application because you get like this almost chewy bite of banana in the bread. And it's a good way to use up something that we we did not enjoy. I shouldn't have gotten as much as I did. When I was ordering these from AZURE, I thought I was ordering these. And lesson learned for sure. Okay, perfect. So a handful of those in as well. We're gonna top it with a couple of banana chips, but we can kind of smash them in and on top. There we go. Okay, and that's our strange additions to the banana bread. I'm gonna get the loaf pans ready. For the loaf pans, I'm just gonna use tallow or lard, whatever I have on hand. You can use butter, grease, spray, and I am going to do a generous greasing so that the sticky banana bread doesn't actually stick to the side. In the event the bread spills over, I went ahead, I'm doing 2. The recipe is only for 1, so I am splitting them up. But I went ahead and did the parchment lined baking sheet in case it does boil over at all and I'm not having to clean up a mess in my oven that way. So about half. They're not even the same size, so we'll just keep an eye on all of it. And this makes it to where I can put one of them in the freezer and we don't waste, because Aaron and Wyatt and I won't eat 2 of these really quickly. We'll probably have a little tomorrow, maybe a slice or 2 the next day, but we aren't gonna eat them super fast. But I can wrap one up and freeze it. So I'm gonna do a couple of bananas on the top. Okay. And then a couple of these as well. It just will add a little crunchy topping. So there we have it, 2 perfectly beautiful banana breads going in, 350. It says for about an hour. I'll check on them in about 30 minutes since we split ours. I am out here, I'm gonna do chores. I'm gonna fill up Peach's water, and all of a sudden I looked over and I'm like, there is so much dirt in the garden. And this stinking extension cord that got buried under the snow is finally, it's finally uncovered all the way. Check this out. All right, so we can now officially get everything cleaned up out here. I love it. Wyatt and I came through yesterday with the tractor and just grabbed trash from the basement and everywhere, and it just, everything that blew in all of the crazy storms this winter, everything that gets buried by the snow and it slowly starts exposing itself, like it is a whole thing. And I have a giant mess going on here. I think I need to run in and grab some gloves. I might do a couple of things outside really quick while our banana bread bakes and I get some water going to the cow. I have to go check on the little chicks. I'm kind of trying to hide. We have a really big project going on in here and something went wrong with it this weekend. So that video is gonna have to wait until Aaron can get everything fixed. So we'll go in and have a little peek though at all these things. They are so cute. All right, chore time. Chickens are so funny. They act like they are starving every single time I have ever fed our chickens ever. Even when they are free fed, like the layers get big enough that I can just leave food out. If I bring fresh food in or anything, they all act this exact same way when they get bigger. Right now, they're 12 on, 12 off with the food. So for 12 hours a day, I just make sure the food is filled up, and then for 12 hours a day, there is no food because the meat birds will just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Whereas the layers will eat until they're full and then they stop, and then water is free fed. They were just out and they're all doing really, really well though. You can definitely tell the difference right now in the size between the layers and the meat birds. And they are quickly though catching up with one another. I'm hoping to find a rooster amongst the bigger birds. None of them are showing the signs of actually being a rooster, so I might have lost him. He might have been one of the birds that we lost because one of them was supposed to be exchanged for a rooster, and it's very, very possible that he just didn't make it. So that's okay. We'll keep looking. I don't want to go and get a rooster until I've seen all of the layers to make sure that none of them actually are. I am not such a chicken expert that I actually know like really, really early on, but we've kind of started learning just the comb and the wattle and all of that is different in a rooster. Even the build of the bird is different, and you see it fairly early, just not right off the bat. But now look at how calm they are. Calming down. And I just keep moving the the shavings back that way to, you know, not get so much of it in the water and the food bowls. This one right here, that's a buff Orpington. I forget what these white ones are called. They look really pretty. I like this, like how these guys are turning out. This white and black here. Barred rock or something. I've had those. This one, he's a layer. If you can see it, it's got really pretty brown feathers on the front. There you go. Oh, that just looked like something was wrong with its wing. It's fine. That might be a chocolate Orpington. If I had any survive. I thought I lost all of them. Those are pretty, huh? There's 3 of those. They look totally different. So I find that strange, like I'll be able to tell the difference between them. Is this boring you? I don't know why they fascinate me so much. I just think they're so cute. I just love them. You see that? That's a full little chicken. Look at that one. Oh my gosh. That's where their stomach is. And now it's totally full of food. Hi guys. That's a pretty. Here in a second, they'll all be curled up together under the heat. Those 2 are done. They're ready to head up and have their nap. Oh, you guys are adorable. Look at that. That's a cute bird. Look at it. And she's gonna be very pretty. She was just puffing up. Now she's not cooperating, but she's puffing up these feathers on the front. These guys, and they're getting their adult feathers. Let's go feed Peaches. The weather has just improved so much, but it has rained or snowed almost every day this is the second week in a row. And it's a little dark and a little gloomy out and all of that, but it is getting so nice. The temperatures are warming up so much, you guys. I am so in love. So, little Miss Peaches, you ready to get the final clean done in this pen? I know I am. It was a massive military plane. We're actually super close to the inlet, and right directly across from it is the Joint Air Force Base, the Air Force and the Army, and we get overhead these massive planes. And in fact, sometimes when we take off flying ourselves from the Anchorage airport, you can see the hay fields of Point Mac that are really near us. Now, I've never been able to like actually point out my house, but we do fly over it. It's very strange. Let's string out the hose and get that done. Need to go check the banana bread and then we'll get this going. Okay, let's have a look. I wash my hands. Not tickling, but I do, yep, still raw in the middle. But the outside are nice and golden brown. It's beautiful. Let's do like 15 more minutes. That should give us time to get the water done. All right. I was sweating. It feels muggy, like so much moisture has fallen in the last couple of weeks with everything melting in the mud. And normally we have really low, what am I thinking of, humidity. And it's not so warm that I feel like, oh, I shouldn't have a sweatshirt on, but I was sweating. I had to put up my hair too. Here we go. Look at all that. Look at that. I never got the Brussels sprouts. They never got full size. So that was sticking up there. I never even got that wagon out of there. What a beautiful sight. There you go. Oh, goodness, girl. What are you doing? What are you doing? So while all of that happens, I think I'm gonna just walk around and pick up as much as I can just for a few minutes, and then I have a project to work on inside when the water is done. I cannot get this apart. So that'll be an errand job. I don't know what the film just got, so it was on time lapse. But anyway, the banana breads are done. They are perfectly nice and brown. Oh, I love it. Those are gonna be delicious. I rolled up a bunch of extension cords outside, and I was saying, like, it is amazing if you just do a few minutes of a project every single day. Just 15-minute cleanup in the yard, 15-minute in the house, 15 minutes here, 4-hour day in the basement, whatever it is. That is how we end up tackling things and not letting them just go on us. So I'm gonna wash my hands, go check the water, and then start a project inside. So this is our cast iron wall, and I was just saying in a previous video that I want to do more hooks along the top where I'm pointing to and do more cast iron. Now, the cast iron I'm going to show you, most of it wouldn't go on this wall. It would just get kind of stacked on the floor. But what happened is at Christmas, Caleb and Destiny, so a family member of hers, watches the channel and knew that I love cast iron, and they just gave us this whole bucket of cast iron. And it's rusty, it's dirty, but none of it is in like bad shape where I would need to take like a grinder or something like that to it. But we can get all of these scrubbed up and get them ready. Some can hang on the wall, some can get stacked. It just adds to the collection. They were free to me, but I thought I would take you along for a second and show you how I bring cast iron back without going through like the process of like I said, grinding on it with machines or a drill or something like that. But just what I do to clean it and then how I season it. And I thought that might be kind of interesting because we do have the wood cook stove, and I do cook most of the time in cast iron. So you watch me cooking it all the time. I just don't always take the time to address how we care for these things. And if you pick them up at like a yard sale or someone gives you some for free, what do you do with that now? So let's dig these out and I'll show you how we're gonna deal with them. It is kind of a filthy thing, and I don't love kitchen gloves. I do my dishes every day without gloves on, and my grandma has worn gloves my whole life. Maybe it's a generational thing. Depends on your age group, I think. Or if you're sensitive to soaps or anything like that, maybe, but it's pretty nasty. So we are gonna use gloves. Now, this was the one Destiny thought was cute. It's the Pioneer Woman. I think you can get these pans at Walmart, but this is what I'm saying. Look inside, it's fine. There's nothing going on with this pan that has an issue, but look at all that little rust and dust and dirt on the outside. That goes to this filthy Dutch oven, but it's not caked up on. Like, there's nothing on it that we're not gonna be able to get off. So there's the first. Another very large Dutch oven with some rust along the edges. And then a griddle pan. So griddle on one side and then a flat pan on the other. Those are great for camping stoves. And then a couple, this is a Lodge. I have a ton of these on my wall. And then they have a whole stack. Look at that, like a little crepe or pancake pans. Let's see. Wagner's, no brand, Lodge, no brand. This one's old. Look at that. So that detail. But you would have thought it had a brand if it was old enough. Anyway, that one's super smooth inside. That's a good cast iron pan. It's not all like pitted with the new one. So here's how we're going to deal with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this oven going to, let's do like 400. And what we're gonna do is once we get them in there, we can bake them for a long time, like an hour. But we'll do a couple of coats and then just stick them in the oven and let them go. So let's head over here. We got our filthy pans. Okay, so this one is the most interesting to me, so I think I'll just start with it. And what I'm going to do is just start with warm water. I have a scrub. So I got these copper coated scrubbers, and we are probably going to end up using more than one of these. And then I have, so the first thing I want to do is just get anything that's loose off the inside of the pan. And we're going to take off as much seasoning as we can. So I'm going to start on the outside of the pan with a little bit of soap and just get to look at that flinging dirt everywhere. This is what my gloves. I also didn't scrub this sink. It's going to be all marked up when we're done, but a little barkeeper's friend will take all of this out of my sink. And now the same thing to the inside. And then I'm just gonna start the process over again because I want the pan super clean. I'm not even gonna use a towel to dry it. I'm just gonna go straight on the heat with it, and in just a second, we're going to use, I have tallow here from some beef fat when we processed a whole beef. And what you see though is the heat will just dry the pan itself. And you can see now, like that is super clean. There's nothing going on in it when the water dries. There's no buildup. And then whatever seasoning is left in the pan, there's nothing going on with it. Meaning like they didn't fry in this pan, so there's not like a thick coating of oil on the outside or anything like that. So this one is just gonna season really, really quick and easily. And we are gonna end up seasoning the outside of the pan, but I wanna do the inside of the pan twice. And then the outside once. So as soon as that last bit of water is gone, we're gonna season it and then let it come up to the smoke point. Perfect. So see the wisps of smoke starting to come up? I don't know if this camera actually will pick that up, but it is smoking the pan. So we're gonna shut this one off. And then from here, what I would do at my house is kind of just let it cool. And while it cools down, I just then go and hang it on the wall. But I will come in and pick up the extra with a towel. Normally I just use whatever kitchen towel I have out, but because we're gonna do several pans today, I'm gonna use some paper towels. That's fine. So I pull a little bit of the grease so it's not pooled anywhere. And now we just have a totally smooth surface. Okay, and then we're gonna scoot this one back. We're gonna let that cool down while we do the next pan, and we are going to grease or season that pan again. And so I'm just gonna jump over here and start doing pan after pan. So I can tell that this pan has been used, and there's like a little seasoning around the outside, not much. We've scrubbed it up pretty good, but the pans were fairly well taken care of. And these 3 have been used. The next 3, I don't think they were ever used. Okay, so this one's at smoke point, shut it off. And just pick up any drips. Now, let me show you the difference. This pan has obviously been used, loved, and seasoned. Look at the color of this one. When I washed this pan, it had the most rust because it's never been seasoned. It has never been used. And I look at the back and it says, Arches National Park. It's a camp chef. It could be that whoever had this pan just used it as decor, but these pans are perfectly good for using. But when you look at it, it almost has like a blue color to it. It doesn't have the black patina to it that you would find. Like this pan has been used a lot less than this pan. I can just tell because I use cast iron every day to cook, and I've cleaned it so many times that I have 3 brand new pans. So these 2 little ones have never been used. I'm gonna just finish seasoning these 2 small pans, and now I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna get these into the hot oven, and all of these pans should be able to fit in there. And because we're going to bake them for about an hour, I'll go ahead and get the other pans just cleaned up and ready to go. But because these are going to go in there for quite some time, I can move on and do some other projects while I wait for these guys. So I'm not gonna keep this pan. Even though it looks to me like it's never been used, as it is heating up, there is an odd smell coming off of it, and it almost smells like crayons, like a melted crayon that you colored with. I don't know what that is, and because I got these pans for free, you can definitely use that for like projects, melting things, whatever. But because we're gonna cook with these, I don't wanna use something that I just don't know what the smell is that's coming off that pan. I haven't found it on anything else, so we're not gonna keep this pan, but this little guy we will keep. So shut those off. So now what we're going to do is take a paper towel, get some more, and we are going to season the outside and inside of these pans. Okay, and then this goes in the oven upside down. All right, last one going in the oven at 450 degrees. All 4 of them are in there, and we're gonna set a 1 hour timer. And now I'm gonna move on and do these last pots, and we should be good to go. I'll have a whole bunch of brand new cast iron pans, well, new to me, and I got them for free. So how fantastic is that? One of the main things I love about cast iron is I say that like they're a forever pan. It's very hard to ruin them. It's very hard to break them. And if you invest in a good pan, it can outlive you and be something that is inherited by other people. So just scrubbing the lid down. I am just gonna set this over the burner and season it the exact same way as the rest of the pan. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but my eyes are on fire. There is so much smoke in our house right now. Wyatt and I had to open that window and a door to get some cross ventilation in here, and fortunately, as gloomy as the weather kind of is outside, it's not that cold out, so I can open the window. The hard part of doing a project this big, whereas most people are gonna have just one pan, someone's gonna give you one cast iron pan, you're gonna get it all cleaned up and seasoned and all of those fun things, and you're gonna heat one pan to the smoking point over and over and over again. Not, where are we at? There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total pieces that we are, sorry about the bumping, 9 total pieces we're working on. But I'm going to season the last pan. All right, so I have seasoned everything. These are all just gonna sit here. The oven ones, I'm gonna let them start cooling down. So shut off the oven, and I'm going to clean up the sink in this space, and then I have to show you what's going on with the plants. So there we got it. Woo-hoo! We have it cleaned up. So because we're not running, let me spin you around. We're not running the wood cook stove right now. It would just burn us out of the house and home. It won't run again until the fall unless we have like a really bad cold snap. So what I think I'll do, because Aaron's on his way home, it's 5:30. Wyatt walked in while we were filming this together, and I'll finish these pans. I'll just pop them in the morning when I'm doing my coffee and let those go in the oven for an hour. The other ones are in there cooling, but I need the oven. I need the stove in order to make dinner. So I'm gonna, sorry about the camera. So I'm just gonna move these over here. Sorry, tipper. In order to just cool on that. It won't hurt anything. Having that stove over there is like having a built-in pot holder for hot things. Perfect. And after you do this once, you don't really have to do it again unless you do something totally messed up to a pan. We've taken them like camping before. Water has gotten in one of the pans. By the time we got home, it is totally rusted. And that can happen really, really quickly, which is why you don't soak them. You don't leave them sitting in dishwater or anything like that. But you might have to just go through this process every now and again if you make a huge mistake with the pan. I wash mine. I get asked that all of the time. And I am just gonna tell you that is personal preference. When I am doing dishes, if I've used a cast iron pan, I just use the rag on it, like regular. Maybe I will use soap depending on what it is, but like the soap that's on the rag already, I don't rinse it out. I just wash the pan with that. I will scrub on my pans and just throw them on the burner and put the little oil in it and then hang it on the wall. That is really the only maintenance that cast iron truly needs. So I'm just encouraging you, you don't necessarily have to do everything that you see online. I have, like I said, cooked with them every day for years and years and years, and I wash mine. I use scrubbers on mine, and I just season them after I use them and wash them every single time, and I have no issues. So this is the fertilizer that our greenhouse uses, and it's really good for the tomatoes. And so I'm going to mix up some fertilizer and we're gonna water the tomatoes. So it's 1 scoop of this. You wanna let it dissolve. So while the water is running, it's in there dissolving. And this is per gallon. And then after that's dissolved, we add 1/2 of the calcium nitrate. If you watched our garden last season, I would make this in a 55-gallon, like a huge water holding. It looked like a trash can, but it was for water, or is like a plastic water thing. But even when your plants are just kind of like starting out, you do, once they get their true leaves on them, you have to start fertilizing them even inside when you water them, or at least that's my experience. And because this is what the local greenhouse uses on the tomatoes, and we took some help from the greenhouse this year, I'm mixing some of that up, and I'm gonna show you what I have going on with the plants, because you may have seen as I was talking, I've obviously moved them into my dining room. So let's go over there and have a chit chat. Well, I wanted to talk to you for just a minute while I water my tomato plants and then give you an update on what we have going on over here. And here lately, I have been doing a lot of thinking. When things start to just slow down, being able to get my hands in the dirt in those quiet moments and the cleans that I've been doing and everything that I have been sharing with you, you get time to think. I kind of put in my earbud and play some music and listen to some podcasts and different things. And I have just had quite a bit of time to think lately, and I wanted to share something with you. And truly feel free to skip this if it isn't why you came here today. I get that, but if you're still here, thank you. I've been thinking about the fruit of the Spirit a lot lately. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. And I have been asking myself a really honest question. When people watch my life, my home, my channel, do they see those fruits? Because that's what matters to me more than anything. Not perfection, not having it all together, but fruit. Out here in the garden, it's simple. If I water these tomatoes, tend them, protect them, eventually fruit shows up. And if something's off, if it's neglected or something's eating at them, it shows up too. Our lives are no different. And something that's been weighing on me and my heart is this. I've started being really intentional about who I watch, who I listen to, and who I allow into my home, my life, and my heart. Because what we consume grows something inside of us. So I've been weighing it, not by personality, not by popularity, but by fruit. Do I see love or consistent tearing down? Do I feel joy or heaviness and comparison? Do I walk away with peace or stirred up and unsettled? A positive example, someone shares their life honestly, encourages others, takes responsibility, shows grace. Even when it's hard, you leave feeling lighter, steadier, maybe even inspired to be better. A negative example of this would be someone might be entertaining, maybe even convincing, but there's constant criticism, division, pride, or chaos, and you leave feeling off, heavy, maybe even a little harder in your heart. That's all fruit. And I don't say this to judge anyone. I say it because I'm holding myself to that same standard. So when you watch us, when you spend time here on our homestead, I hope you see the love in the way that we care for each other and the life we built. I hope you see joy, not because everything is easy, but because we choose it anyway. I hope you feel at peace when you're here, like you can take a breath and just be who you are. I hope you see patience in the slow work, in the seasons, in the things that take time. I hope you see kindness in how we speak, how we show up, how we treat other people. I hope you see goodness in choices, in choosing what is right, even when no one is watching. I hope you see faithfulness in showing up again and again in the work, in our family, in our walk, and self-control in what we say and what we don't say on this channel, and how we carry ourselves through life's hard ups and downs. I hope you see fruit. I'm not perfect in any of it, but I am intentional, and I want this space, this channel, this home to be a place where good fruit grows. So as I stand here watering tomatoes, I guess I'm really just asking myself, and maybe you too, what are we growing here? Thank you for sticking with me through that. I was going to just show you, I went ahead and got help from the greenhouse. I got a few tomatoes. All of these tomatoes here, as well as those two on the floor, they will need to go in the greenhouse, but Mid-Valley Greenhouse actually has worked for years on this specific tomato, and they call it the Russian tomatoes. So there is a whole tray here and then 6 more back there. These will actually get planted in the garden. So they are tomatoes that grow outside up here in Alaska, and you have to get these from that greenhouse. They are the tomatoes that we grew the very first year that we were here, and we actually got big, beautiful tomatoes. I didn't grow anything inside of a greenhouse. So we have a little experiment going to happen this year between the outside Russian tomatoes. If this is echoing, it's because of this light here. And then these will be the inside greenhouse tomatoes. All of the plants that we planted up last week are doing well. Our celery has not sprouted yet, and I'm getting ready to do dinner, and then I'm gonna get the seeds organized. I just have so much going on. But I did go ahead and pick up some flowers for pots because we're doing such a huge landscape project this year. I want to do a bunch of flower pots. We're not gonna have the outside flower garden spaces ready, and it's gonna be muddy and dirty and all of that, but we still want to have as much beauty as we can possibly get. And so we have everything from plants that will like spill over to I think big centerpieces down there, and then the plants to go kind of around them, some colors that they sold out of last year. So I've never been able to get the bubble gum, and so many of you have told me, because we both love Garden Answers, and she uses this bubble gum super tunia, and it will just like take over. So I got a half tray of those just to kind of test out. I don't do a ton of pink, but I do like a red, white, blue, and yellow theme most of the time, but we can definitely change it up. So I grabbed some purple, some white, and those bubblegum pink ones. I need to figure out what I'm going to put them in and how we're gonna use them, but I'm excited to try it out. I got a couple of little bigger tomato plants, and then we are going to heavy start seeds next week. Why is this up here? Well, I'm not heating the basement. We're not refilling the woodshed until it's been moved and all the landscaping's done. And to heat that basement, the only way to heat it is with wood. And so, because we have the pellet stove up here that we're using right now, I went ahead and moved this plant thing upstairs. It gets the south facing light. It's easier for me to turn it on and off. I can just water from the kitchen. I have 2 of these plus some metal ones. I think this weekend Aaron's gonna have to bring me up the other one in order for me to get all this done. And what I may do is just like pull this light up just with like a zip tie or something, and I can stack the 2, and because these things roll, I can kind of adjust them. Like I could scoot them around the room and put one by the window and one back here, but kind of have them 2 deep, and all I did was just move the table into Caleb's room. So that's my update. I hope you enjoyed, and we all made a big joke. I posted like, is Aaron gonna notice all these plants? I want you to come I want you to know, if you guessed that Aaron would notice the plants, he may have noticed them. He may not have noticed them. We will never know, because Aaron came home to this being his dining room yesterday and not one single word came out of his mouth about it. Not, did you buy more plants? Why is that Rolly upstairs in the eating breakfast nook? Not one word did this man have to say. And I watched him go eat snacks in the pantry right behind it. He just cruised on by like no big deal. So did he notice? Probably. This is a bright shining light that is not normally here. He probably noticed. Did he care? Not one iota. So Aaron just called, he's on his way home, and I'm like, okay, what can I make for dinner really quickly? We have hardly anything in the fridge because we didn't do a shopping haul for us this month. And last month, you know, we ran out of everything. We have just been grabbing a little here, a little there, an onion if we need it, that sort of things. But I have these hamburger patties. I have some leftover pulled pork from this weekend, and we had bought buns for the pulled pork, and I was like, okay, we can do hamburgers, and whatever's left of the pulled pork is probably just one person gonna get a sandwich. And then really quick, I have all this cheese in the milk cheese fridge. So I was like, oh, I'll just do a quick macaroni and cheese or like a cheese sauce on pasta. So I'm just gonna bring some water up to boil, and I found the rotini, and so this is a 2 pound. I am not gonna use 2 pounds. I'm probably just gonna use 1 pound or a couple of cups of this. I don't want to have like a massive amount. And then I think we're gonna run out and start the grate. I do not want to grate all of the cheese by myself. So I am going to use the Ninja and grate it in there instead. I don't always open the cheeses because once you do, that's when they mold and you have to start using them. So let's see what we hear. Reserve cheddar. This one probably came from, it looks like Costco. However, let's open that. We need a couple of cups of cheese. So let's do about a third of that. And macaroni and cheese is actually so easy to make from scratch at home. It really just does not require as much as you might think. But I do like a couple of combinations. So this one I did get from AZURE. It's a raw smoked yellow cheddar. So, not quite half, but a bigger chunk of that. I like the smoked flavor, especially when you're eating it with like barbecue. And this is kind of a soft cheese. Perfect. That'll go in. And let me see what I have in the fridge. I have a jalapeno jack that we have been eating off of for days. I love it. So we're gonna do a good chunk of this. There we go. Perfect. And then let's start grating the cheese. Oh, I have a little Parmesan for the top. We have 6 hamburgers left. I'm just gonna put a little rancher steak rub on them. They are frozen. They'll just go straight on the grill. It's ready. Easy peasy. While the pasta is going, I'm gonna go ahead and melt the cheese off. I just have a little pat of butter. You can use oil, obviously, or anything like that, and we just kind of make it up. So I might do a little butter and a little, this is avocado oil. then to that, I am going to add my seasonings and kind of like bloom the spices, and I'm gonna do ground mustard. Believe it or not, that's one of my favorites in macaroni. It doesn't taste like mustard, but it does give it plenty of spice. And then some garlic salt, not too much. And a little paprika for color. So the paprika will bring out like the bright orange, like make it look super cheesy. And then pepper. So I'm gonna season mine with red pepper flakes and black pepper. But you can literally do whatever you want. And to that, I'm gonna add just a little bit of flour. And now that that's cooked, in with a bunch of milk. As the milk starts heating up, it will thicken with the flour, but because we got it all in there and the spices, we don't have any chunks, we want to start adding in the cheese and then let it melt. So I'm gonna do half in. Okay, that cheese is almost melted. Just gonna leave a little for the top. That's perfect. And put the rest in. Okay, all of the cheese is melted. And then the pasta is gonna go in. The pasta is not cooked all the way through. It is going to go in the oven for a few minutes and absorb. I have a little too much sauce, but that's okay. That is good. With a little cheese. And into the oven for about 30 minutes. My family is home now. Our house is chaos and loud, but Erin went ahead and threw a couple of sausages on along with the hamburgers, and then the macaroni and cheese, that's what we're cooking here, came out of the oven, and you guys, it is beautiful and flavorful and absolutely fantastic. And I just heated up on one of the cast iron pans that we have some of that pulled pork that he made for me this weekend. Pulled pork is my favorite barbecued meat. Erin knows that. And then we topped a hearty bowl of macaroni and cheese with that pulled pork and a little bit of onion. And oh my gosh, it was so, so good. It is the perfect way to use up that pulled pork, add something new to the meal. We truly, truly enjoyed our dinner. Well, there we have it. Dinner was fantastic. I hope you enjoyed spending some of my day with me. We got all of the chores done. We got a project done. We made the dinner. We didn't waste the bananas. We have the banana bread. I went ahead and wrapped one of those and put it away. And then the other one we can have as a late snack, or I might throw it in a bag and we can have it for breakfast as well. So we got so much done, as well as a little plant update, the whole 9 yards. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for being you. If you would like to be part of the channel and what we're doing here and everything that I shared that we're trying to build, please hit that subscribe button. If you ring the bell, you'll get notifications and you won't miss anything that we're doing on this homestead. With that, I hope that you are blessed. I hope you have the most fantastic week ahead of you. I hope that you are inspired at least just a little bit to tackle a single project here or there to make a family dinner, to do something small, whatever it is. I hope I inspired you today. So with that, thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.